Hi, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Whisky Pilgrim, and my first ever video. That will be a two-part series where I will tell you a little bit about myself and why I decided to start YouTubing about whiskey. My name is Fredrik, and I come from Sweden. Which you might hear, I have a different dialect and pronunciation, so I don't hope that will cause you any problem. And if you're something that you feel like you didn't understand, just write down below. My occupation is a teacher in recreation and after-school care. And for the last 6 to 7 years I have been exploring the wonderful world of whiskey. Before I even had any whatsoever interest in whiskey, the only alcohol-related thing I drank at that time was beer. And the darker it was, the better I think it was. I really like stout and port, especially Guinness. When it comes to whiskey, the only brands that I really knew of back then was Famous Grouse, Grant's, Glenfiddich, and Jim Beam and Jack Daniels. I had tried some blended scotch before, but I didn't really find it to my taste, mostly because of the burning sensation I got in my throat, and it wasn't something that I really liked, so it quite put me off for a long time for drinking whiskey. But then something did happen actually, and that was when I was studying in university, and I was living in a flat, and in my flat, of course, one of my flatmates, there was a lot of flats, but one of the flatmates there, he was an occasional whiskey drinker, and he had a small collection of whiskeys, single malts, but at that point that was the biggest collection I had actually ever seen. I think he had like 6 to 9 different bottles, mostly Islay, which will be a hint here very soon. And that's where I actually tried my first real single malt. And it was this one. The Lafroy Quarter Cask. And to you who are new, or been drinking for some time, you might recognize the label, or you might not, because this is the old label they used to have before they changed it. I actually do prefer this label to the new one, but that's just an opinion. And, you know, with this bottle, this is where my journey began. And for a few months ago, I started my first Instagram profile, Whisky Pilgrim, so I could do what so many other people do on Instagram. Not putting pictures on dogs or food, but I did want to share my pictures and experience when it came to whiskey. And during this process, I was starting to think that why shouldn't I maybe try to start a whiskey channel myself on YouTube. And so now here we are. So why the name Whisky Pilgrim, you might ask. Yeah, the whiskey part is quite explainable, but I spell it with an E, which is one way to spell it. And it's also just because I'm really bad at spelling, so it's just a little hint to myself that I always need to check what I'm writing before I send it, especially when it comes in English, because else no one would understand what I am been writing or typing. And the pilgrim is someone who is searching. Usually the pilgrim is always searching for something holy and meaning. For me, it's just that I'm searching for new experiences when it comes to whiskey. I always want to try new brands, distilleries, you know, different kind of cask maturations, finishes, and that kind of stuff. And my channel will not be reviewing whiskeys. I will not give out points and that kind of stuff. You know, like this one I will give 92 of 100 because I have no idea how I would do that point score, and also this is not what I want to do. There are so many other really good YouTubers out there who do this. Yeah, I want to do my own thing, but I will be talking about whiskey in different subject matters. And as I'm talking, I will be showing bottles that has something to do with that. the subject. You know, if I talk about Isla, I will show you my Isla whiskies, and I will also show you the ones I would recommend you to buy. And that is just my opinion. Everything here, like all YouTube channels, are opinion based. So I'm not telling you to buy it, I'm just telling you this is something I would recommend you to buy. And I will also say that I am not a whiskey expert. It's very, very important to understand at all. I just love whiskey. I always like to get impressed and a little bit shocked sometimes when there are brands that you didn't thought were going to be that good, but they are really good. And I will cover that in other videos in the future. And also, as you might understand, you will see my hand here. You might ask, why do I not see the person who's talking? Well, that is because I am doing my own thing, and I really don't... No, I don't know. I just want to do my own thing, actually. I don't want people to see anything else more than the whiskey that I have. And you will hear my voice. I think that's enough. For the time being, maybe in the future you will see me. It doesn't mean that, oh my god, is he a famous person? Absolutely not. Am I a famous criminal? Oh, absolutely not. I just want to focus on the whiskey. That's all. That doesn't mean showing yourself as you talk about whiskey is a bad thing. No, this is just what I want to do. It's just an opinion. Hopefully I didn't confuse anyone. And yeah, in the next video I will, as I said, this is a part 1 of part 2. I will go through the 4 commandments that I have. You know, I think like, oh my god, is this going to be a church thing? No, it's not. Just 4 things I want to go through, that I want to talk about, that I think is very important when it comes to drinking whiskey, sharing whiskey, talking about whiskey. And before I go, I have a question that you can type your answer down below, and that is, what was your first whiskey experience, and even the first whiskey that you tried that really got you maybe hooked on whiskey, or gave you an interest in the world of whiskey? It can be a blended scotch, a blended malt, single malt, an American whiskey. It could be a Dutch whiskey, a German whiskey, American, you know, even Japanese or Indian, Australian whiskey. There's so many whiskeys, so many different, even Swedish and Scandinavian whiskies in general. Just type it down below. Cheers, and I'll see you next time.
Holy shit, there's a lot of news. I can hear your heart.